I am so excited today. Hello to everyone on Facebook who's watching this recording live later on Instagram and YouTube. It is such an honor to introduce myself to you. I am Dr. Romy. I serve as Chief Wellness Officer at Evolution Hospitality and the host of the Wellness Evolved podcast, where we're going to be sending this audio. So those of you that are seeing it live on social media are getting a preview. I was so excited about this guest. I had to just stream her everywhere. You know, I will tell you as the founder of the Brain Shift Institute, we talk about hormonal health for men and women, and women all over the world reach out to me confused about hormones. I mean, like, what the heck? It's so confusing. So I knew that I need to bring my next guest on. Meet Dr. Kyrin Dunston. Dr. Kyrin Dunston is a board certified OBGYN who specializes in hormones. She discovered the hidden cause of midlife weight gain and fatigue in women. Dr. Kyrin lost a life-changing 100 pounds and fixed her adrenal fatigue. I will tell you personally, and in our community, she is known as a pioneer of female hormonal justice. She founded the Midlife Metabolism Institute and the Hormone Club. The Hormone Club has board certified doctors in multiple states that actually prescribe hormones so that women of every age have access to hormonal freedom, no matter where you are. My guest, Dr. Kyrin, has been featured on CBS, NBC, Reader's Digest, The Huffington Post, and so many more national and international media. I mean, I will personally say I agree with this, including the female executives that I've referred to her for care. She is a midlife metabolic ninja, yes. And she is here to show us the next steps to take to unleash our best health. Dr. Kyrin, welcome. I'm so honored to have you and introduce you to our community on the Wellness Evolved podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Romy. I'm super excited to be here.
Okay, so the first thing everybody says is, wow, you lost 100 pounds. And you share your journey so humbly. Walk me through that. Like, you know, there's a point so many of us, myself included, can relate, whether it's 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 100, 200, you get to this point that you go from saying, I need to lose this weight to actually doing it. How did you do that?
Yeah. Well, I had to find the right path. That was the problem, because I was taught in medical school and in my OBGYN training that weight is a math problem. It's about calories in minus calories out, and that's your weight. And that math problem does work when you're 16, when you're 20, maybe even when you're 25 for most of us. But at some point for women, we are biologically programmed for that math problem to go away. So it no longer becomes a math problem. It becomes a communication problem. Oh. So I didn't know this. And here I was in my 40s and I was obese. I had myriad other health problems. I was tired all the time. Even though I was a wife and a mom, all I had energy to do was to work and to sleep. I had fibromyalgia, which is, some people may not know, is pain in the body on a daily basis. I had depression, anxiety, irritable bowel, gastritis. My hair was falling out. I had no sex drive. And I looked and felt 20 years older than I was. And all of my training and my med school and residency, I knew about perimenopause and menopause, but it was basically, you're going to have some funky period situations, and then your period's going to go away. You might have some hot flashes, some vaginal dryness, but it wasn't this multi-system organ disruption. So I didn't even attribute the symptoms I was having, including my weight gain, to these hormonal shifts that we are all programmed to have. And what I eventually learned that allowed me to lose the weight and get off all prescription medications and heal all those problems and grow my hair back and have a sex drive and all the things was that it's a communication problem. Weight is a communication problem. So what do I mean?
Communication problem. Okay. You gave me so much to unpack there. I mean, okay. Can I just tell you, I'm having a personal aha moment that I hear from other women all the time. I was a step aerobics queen, you know, as Gen X, right. Remember step aerobics? And you were right. Yep. When you were young, you could like burn off 2 large pizzas. Now right. I go to Orange Theory and I'm sweating and pushing and I come back and I gain weight. Is that kind of what you're talking about as an example of a communication problem?
That's a great example. The example is that the exercise and cutting calories, it's
Doesn't work anymore.
uncoupled.
Got
It
it.
doesn't work anymore. And I am too, I'm an Orange Theory fan, but it's not enough. And the communication is, we women are taught that our sex hormones are kind of like accessories. Like we might take a special pocketbook to a black tie event, or we might wear a special necklace to that event. It's like accessories. I think that we envision our health as like, we're really like men, except we have these special reproductive capacities and these sex hormones that give us a sex drive and ability to make a baby. But nothing could be further from the truth. And this gets to the communication issue in that what I had to learn is that our hormones really are the foundation of our health. They are the regulators that tell all our cells how to function. They regulate our metabolism, and everybody knows metabolism, your metabolic rate, is what couples your weight, how much fat you have or don't have, to your energy, weight and energy, metabolism. I think of it like a bow tie. And in the middle is that metabolic rate. And on one side is your fat, and on the other side is your energy. And so our hormone system is the very foundation of our health. Hormones are the communicators. So what is the most important factor in any system, right? If you go in a third grade classroom today, Dr. Romie, and there's a substitute teacher who's there because the main teacher's out sick, and the substitute teacher has no lesson plan, doesn't know what to teach the kids, doesn't know what the expectations are for those children. And this classroom is a system, right? A classroom's a system, a school is a system. What are you going to see in that system? Chaos, right? The third grade students are going to be running around, playing tag, throwing spitballs, pulling each other's hair. Why? There's been no communication. The regulators of that system have not, their kids don't know what's expected. The sub teacher didn't tell them sit down. You're expected to be quiet. You're expected to take notes, have your books out. You're expected to answer the questions, bring your homework, right? So any system without regulation and communication turns into chaos. Your hormones are the communicators. So why do I say that? They come from your mainframe computer, which is your brain.
Which in our world we know is the busy brain center and the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Yep, we go through that. Got it. Yes.
And I know this is your foray. And so I love that you are telling people how to make this the best so that their whole health can be better. But just like your computer information comes into your house through the internet, it has a hardwired connection and it has a wireless connection. And I don't know about in your house, but in my house, if I plug my computer into the internet, it's a pretty sturdy connection that almost never goes out. And the wireless internet is always going out.
Got it. And so that's our hormones, basically, is what you're saying. Got it. Okay. Thank you. You explain it so well. And listening to that. And, people who've worked with us going through Brain Shift, we're running our second cohort at Evolution Hospitality through it. We get labs and they have this aha moment, like my hormones are off. And by the way, this is for podcast is specifically for those individuals that were born with a uterus and ovaries. We will have men's hormonal health separately on the podcast here too.
Awesome.
So, we didn't skip that out. But, one thing I always hear is, okay, I had this aha moment. Dr. Kyrin, how do I know that my hormones are off? I'm in my late 30s, 40s, 50s. You sharing your incredible personal health journey is so inspiring. But what are some things we should be thinking about? Like, I need to look at my hormones.
Right. Well, really, it's something you should do. It's like, how do I know when I have a problem with my teeth? When should I be paying attention to my teeth? Well, at least every 6 months, you should be getting a dental cleaning.
Every woman should be checking their hormones.
Yes.
We don't wait until something goes wrong.
Right. There's no standard of care for that in mainstream medicine, but really you should know what your hormones are when you're at puberty. You should know what they are in your 20s. You should be following them throughout. We And now I know a lot of women are going, well, wait a minute, I haven't ever done this. So it's never too late to start right now. So do it right now.
Okay, so never too
And
late to start. And now what do
right.
you say to your doctor? Because you go in and they're going to say, hey, Dr. Romy and Dr. Kyrin were talking and we haven't checked my hormones. Can you tell us how you would tell someone to advocate with their doctor? Or what kind of doctor should they see?
So what I would say is that most of your doctors that are on your PPO and HMO are not trained in this. They're not hormonally literate. They're lovely people. It's just not the business they were trained in. Just like as an MD, I was not trained in that. So if you go, it's not something they provide or know about. So if you go there and ask for that, they're going to say, we don't do that. Or if they do agree and you advocate for yourself and you say, well, I heard this is a thing and I want it, they might acquiesce and do the test, but they're likely going to do the wrong test and they're going to read them the wrong way. And they're going to tell you you're fine, which is a story I hear every day on social media.
Likewise.
Right. Mm-hmm. So what you have to do is recognize that they're trained in a certain paradigm of medicine. And so just like you go to the hardware store for drills and screws and hammers, you're not going to go there for milk and bread. You're going to go to the grocery store for milk and bread. You can't go for hormone testing and balancing to your regular doctor. It's not the business they're in. It's not what they're trained in. So you have to find people like me and Dr. Romy who are trained in this and are hormonally literate and can teach you and guide you.
Title be? Let's break it down, and we're going to put this in the show notes. Like, what are they looking for, Dr. Kyrin? I mean, we're going to send people to all the great information about menopause transition, menopause on your website, your books, everything. But you know, if they're saying, "How do I find this person in my city?" What would you tell them to look for?
So I would tell you to look for a functional medicine physician, an anti-aging physician. You can Google those terms, and that's someone who you would find.
I also find, you know, there are a lot of OBGYNs like yourself who have done the additional training in integrative functional medicine, or they'll say we specialize in bioidentical hormones. Right. That's what I typically am looking for my executives. And we'll talk about your hormone club later. But you have board certified physicians in how many states were you telling me before we started?
47 states.
Yeah, 47 states that can do this via telemedicine. You have to love technology. So this is so exciting. Okay. So you've told us what doctor we should be looking at. And this isn't waiting until the car breaks down to go to the repair shop, but like we get a regular oil change, we as women need to be getting our hormones checked. Okay. So then the next thing I hear, and I mean, I know both of us roll our eyes and get a migraine, but my gosh, the power of suggestion, this, you know, I think misinformation from over a decade ago that hormones are not safe. A lot of us remember when that initial, you know, study came out and we were having to panic and pull women off of hormones and all of that. And that's not true. So I hear this is Dr. Kyrin, I'm scared to start hormone therapy because, and I'm going to give it to you bullet point. Would I get breast cancer?
You said, will you? No.
Will you get breast cancer from getting hormone replacement therapy?
No. And you're right. At the Women's Health Initiative study, almost 20 years ago now, there was a lot of fear. But what people don't understand is that they've been misinformed and they're confused and their practitioners are confused. And this is why you're afraid. When you get the right information, you will not be afraid. So they tested in that study that did show an increased risk of breast cancer, horse estrogen called equilin, and a form of progestin, which is a synthetic hormone. Neither of these are biologically identical to what you naturally have in terms of estrogen and progesterone in your body. And I am never an advocate of synthetic abnormal hormones. So they do increase your risk of breast cancer and other health problems. But the problem is that doctors and the lay public and the media extrapolated this to mean they proved apples caused breast cancer. And then they said oranges also cause breast cancer.
And that's not true.
And that's not true. So when we talk about hormone replacement therapy, Dr. Romy and I are talking about biologically identical hormones, meaning they are exactly the same as what God gave you, you were born with. So they nourish your cells, they nourish your brain, they nourish your gut, they nourish your eyes, they nourish all your cells. And they're really essential to healthy aging. and preservation of so many things, including brain function.
Agree.
And so you do not need to be afraid. It's just that you've gotten some misinformation. That's okay. You can re-educate yourself. We all make mistakes, and then we learn the correct information. So natural hormones do not cause breast cancer.
Great. And I know you have great resources on your website. We will link everything back on this podcast to your wonderful resources you give to the public. And thank you for that, Dr. Kyrin. The next question I often get is, people just think, well, I'm a woman in my 40s or 50s. I have to give it up. It's menopause. Like there's nothing I can do. I'm going to age. I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to lose my memory. Isn't this normal, Dr. Kyrin?
Well, I will say this, it's normal because that's what most women experience, because that's what they accept. But this comment and this belief just makes me so angry. And that really spurs me on in my passion to help and my mission to help women understand what's possible. The only reason we accept this is because we're taught to accept it by our healthcare providers and society. And I talk to women every day who say, well, my doctor told me it's normal for my age to want to nap in the afternoon. And it's normal for my age to be tired and need coffee when I wake up. And it's normal for my age to not have a sex drive and not enjoy sex anymore. And it's normal for my age to have a tire around my back.
It is not
normal. It's
normal.
not.
That is the patriarchy in medicine. And as I started to research women's health, and by the way, this is new. Like Dr. Kyrin, you've heard me say this before. I entered neurology at a time where less than 5% of brain doctors in the United States were women. Back in the 1990s, people were not looking at women's hormones in the brain. Nope. So majority of the doctors that are out there haven't done the extra work you and I have done in training. We went back in our careers as doctors to get educated, to say, how do we help women? How do we help the public? So, this is, not voodoo. This is science that Dr. Kyrin and I are talking about. I mean, we wouldn't have our medical licenses if we, weren't following science. So, I mean, absolutely. Yes. And I really thank you for saying that. Is together we must raise our voices on behalf of all women, that we have to end this kind of patriarchal thinking in medicine that women are just has-beens in menopause transition and menopause. Yes. So we have you for a little bit of time. We always, wrap up our questions and ask a couple of things, and then we will talk about the Menopause Madness Summit. But our corporate mindfulness program is known as the Power of Pause at Evolution Hospitality. We try to take a pause before every team meeting, or we get on phone calls, and just am blessed as their chief wellness officer to have watched this blossom. So we always ask our guests and our leaders, how do you personally take a pause? You are a busy physician, an entrepreneur, a wife, a mother. I mean, so many of our women in our company can relate to you, Dr. Kyrin. How do you take a pause every day?
How do I take a pause? Well, it starts with my morning routine. And a term I learned recently that I love, habit stacking. And I habit stack in the morning and evening and throughout the day. In the morning, it's my quiet time. So it's meditation, it's prayer, it's journaling. 5 days a week, it's Orange Theory. And that is so important for physical health, mental and emotional health, and clarity. I also consider it a spiritual experience. And then what I consume in the morning and when I consume it, and that may vary. I do follow more of an intuitive eating type of plan. I'm not so rigid. And then throughout the day, taking pauses to do some deep breathing, look at the water outside where I live, look at the trees and the sky, remember why I'm here and what I'm doing, and my connections to other people throughout the day, connecting with people who nourish me. And then I have a similar habit stacking at night, ending my day and reviewing my day, staying centered on, I'm very spiritual, and so spiritual truths. I do believe that we are all one and we are here to help each other. So anything that reminds me to come back to that, like all the shells I have around my living space, or the pine cones that remind me of that.
That is so beautiful. Thank you. And it's one of our guiding principles that none of us is as good as all of us. And you said it so beautifully. And I think
Mhm.
in that we've also, hospitality, like healthcare, are essential workers, and they have been doing the work of 3 to 10 people. And we've been talking about 7-minute self-care. And you gave us great examples in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. But if you had to tell women in their 30s, 40s, 50s who are having hormonal symptoms, what is one thing
Mhm.
you would tell them to do for 7 minutes a day that could help them feel better?
Breathing practice, resonance breathing.
Resonance.
So yes,
I love
I
that.
would
Thank you.
say, and there are lots of apps you can get online. Just Google resonance breathing.
Okay.
And I think that is the number one thing everybody can do,
I'm going
especially
to
if
start it
you're
today,
right.
and I'm going to get your favorite resources for resonance breathing, and we'll connect them here
Okay.
for the show notes. And
Oh, great.
so I'm going to take a pause. We'll pause at this point just for editing for the podcast, and I'll do a closing. And thank you all for those of you that are watching how we record podcasts on live on social media. But now I really want to talk about this as well. Is I had the honor to join you and 70 other experts to the Menopause Madness Summit. And it
Yes.
is, we are taking signups. We're going to put the link here on all of our social media channels as well. Tell me about it. I want to know. So this is a summit. It's called Menopause Madness. How do I know we need to sign up?
Right. It stopped the menopause madness because it's madness that we women think this is normal to age, like we've discussed. So you'll share the link with them. You can go learn more about it. We have 75 experts, over 50 doctors, credentialed experts who have had the type of training that Dr. Romy and I have had, and who they speak hormone, they're hormone literate. So they can help you understand what's going on with your body. What tests do I need to have? Where do I access these tests? What are the symptoms I'm having mean? And what are all the considerations that I need to know about for how do I make 80 look fabulous? That's what we're going to teach you there. It starts November 1st through the 5th. It is free. We forgot to say that.
Yeah, I mean, what a gift. And so what I want you to know is all these experts have donated their time and
Yes.
done this, but I'm so excited. Who is your special guest for
Oh,
this year? Yeah.
Stacey London, some of you may know her from TLC's show What Not to Wear, was one of my shows back in the day. And I loved it because it was never just about the fashion with Stacey. It was about helping people feel better in their own skin and have self-esteem and confidence. And she's now taken that same passion and brought it to menopause when her own health hit the skids. When she didn't know it was menopause, she had a list of 50 symptoms. She wasn't able to function in her life as an executive producer. And she went to her doctor and said, what is happening to me? My health is off the rails. Her doctor said, oh, it's just menopause. You'll get through it. Don't worry about it. And that was not okay with Stacey. As you know, she's a leader and she's very outspoken. So she's become our unofficial menopause spokesperson. And for the summit, she's sharing what she learned on her journey and tools that she's developed to help us.
Gosh, great. This is so exciting. I will tell you, there's so much information in there. I'm just buying out the whole package so I can sit and
right
for my knowledge, and for all of our, the individuals who have uteruses and ovaries that I have the honor to serve with at Evolution Hospitality and through all of our other corporate clients. So I can't wait to join. We will put the links. And so if you can't attend things live because they're working, we're working during the day. How does a summit work for some people who've never signed up for one? Tell us a little bit. They can purchase the package and watch it on demand, right? Is that how that works?
Right. For less than a tank of gas.
Yeah.
I think it's $47. You can purchase the whole thing. You get not only the free interviews that will air next week, but you also get a bonus interview that each attendee, summit speaker, including Dr. Romy, gave, and their bonus gifts. Some people gave course is worth $1,500. Some people gave free consults worth $500. Some people gave free product. So just with the free things you're going to get, the $47 is kind of a no-brainer. You also get a private podcast feed where you can listen to these when you're driving, grocery shopping, walking the dog. If you're like me, you like to multitask.
Yes.
You'll also get the full transcript of all the talks, which is super valuable. A woman shared with me that she took the interview with Dr. Felice, who teaches doctors about how testosterone, diagnosing deficiency in women and prescribing to her doctor who didn't know how to do it. And he was able to diagnose and prescribe for her testosterone, and it changed her life.
Right.
So much value. It's kind of a no-brainer to me for less than a tank of gas. So definitely consider upgrading your experience.
Oh, I definitely am. And, Dr. Kyrin, I thank you, because I think you and I share this in sisterhood together. Is we are both of an age where, don't tell me to slow down or I'm going to run over you with designer shoes and my wearable tech. We're women on a mission, right? I'm here to change the face of brain and mental health and corporate America. You're helping, women in midlife, just become their warrior queen self. And we don't have time to slow down. So God bless you for the work you're doing. Such an honor to have you. Please, I would love to hear any final thoughts here, an inspiration personally, as a colleague, for the work you're doing in the world. Any final thoughts you'd love to share with us?
I'm almost on the verge of tears because I love you so much. And I think you are such an inspiration, and you are a sister on the path, and you have that same passion and mission to help other women that I have. And we just need to keep supporting each other, keep doing what we're doing. And I really think, the Dalai Lama is quoted as saying that women are going to change the world. And I believe that it's Western women who are empowered with their hormones balanced and their brain balanced, who can then share the wisdom that they've gotten to put to so a lot of these problems that we've got in society, and really help transform us all. And I see that in you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I see you, sister. I hear you. I believe in you. And thank you for the world and the work you're doing for women. You are changing the conversation around hormones. And it is about time this happened. Yes. Well, I know you were busy. You've got back-to-back interviews today. So I'm going to, let me have an auntie moment. I need to put on my readers, another song.